Hello everybody, Jim here, and I've just returned home from yet another game hunting trip. I went way out to West Tokyo today. I went pretty far out when I went to Tachikawa, even further out today, out there in the mountainous regions of West Tokyo. And the hard off I went to today, probably the biggest and best stocked I've ever been to. Epic doesn't even begin to describe just the amount of games they had there. I actually had to kind of cut the video short because there were so many games, there was so much to dig through that the video was going to be a lot longer than I want it to be. So I had to cut things a little bit short, and I was actually joined today by a fellow game hunter, a friend of mine by the name of Destiny, who was here visiting Tokyo. So she tagged along, and we both picked up a whole bunch of games today, a lot of great stuff. So you'll get to see all of that in the video, and stay tuned for the end of the video where I will show you what my finds of the day were. I got some really good games today, but with that being said, let's go game hunting.
Triumph or die!
Hello everybody, Jim here, and today we are way out in West Tokyo in the neighborhood of Hachioji. And hey, look who's here today. It's Chun-Li's Puerto Rican cousin, Chica Lee. Yeah. Hey buddy, what are we doing today?
Game hunting.
Game hunting?
Game hunting.
What do you want?
I'm actually looking for Virtual Boy games.
Virtual Boy games? Because you're a weirdo?
Yes.
Alright, cool. Well, we are going to go for that long trek from here to the hard off, because we ain't got no car. We ain't got no bicycles. And
I got legs.
What do you got, legs?
I got Jordans.
Functional legs, Jordans, Chucks, and I'm too cheap to take a taxi. Plus, it's fun to walk. It's a beautiful day. Look at this weather.
We actually have good weather in December.
We have some fantastic weather. It's in the 50s. We're not dying. So enjoy a nice leisurely stroll through the beautiful scenic town of Hachioji, and we will be at a hard off momentarily looking for games. Wow.
See you soon.
映画のすべては無にした貴様らに魔物の恐ろしさを思い知らせてやる。さあ来い。リース新しき伝説 by Addison.
Are we there yet?
No.
Are we there yet?
No.
Are we there yet?
No. Alright, finally found it. Hey, look at this. Eco Town. What do we got here? We got
hard off, hobby off, off house, mode off, book off, and liquor off.
Liquor off?
Liquor off.
I hardly know her.
Exactly.
We're gonna stop by that liquor off. We're gonna see what's going on in there. But it's been a while since I've been here, and you've never been here, right?
I've never been here.
Okay.
I don't even know what a mode off is. I'm seeing bikes.
Yeah. They got all the offs here. If you ever wanted an off, they got it here.
I see no jerk off.
Well.
Or get off.
That's come on now. We don't want to give away all the secrets here. It's coming up a little later. All right, here we are. All the convenience.
This is hobby hard.
We got a hobby off, hard off house. We got it all. You ready to go get some games?
Ready.
Rock and roll. First person fist bump. Boom. Let's do it. All right. getting started with the hunt proper, and we're going to get started with these cases. And boy, did they have some pretty crazy stuff in here. We're already seeing some pretty uncommon games, stuff like Gunnak, Phelios, Little Nemo, which is pretty cool. I've actually still never played Little Nemo. Salamander, which actually is not that uncommon, but they have it in there anyway. And multiple copies of Akumajo Densetsu, aka Castlevania 3. Which again, I don't think is all that uncommon. It's just, you know, who doesn't love Castlevania 3? But we have some of these Super Famicom games, which are a lot more uncommon. There's Assault Suit Vulcan, which is pretty cool, related to the Assault Suit Lenos games. There's Super Castlevania 4, Live Alive, Ys 5, some Sailor Moon, and it keeps getting better. They have the Ninja Gaiden Trilogy, which is what that is. Turtles in Time, which is awesome, which loose carts of Turtles in Time still aren't that expensive. Super Double Dragon, Super Back to the Future 2, Iron Commando, Soul Blader, Dion, Violinist of Hameln. Just so much good stuff in there, and a loose copy of Super Alesta. But if you stick around, we're going to find another copy of Super Alesta a little bit later. But there was a lot of cool stuff in there that I really wanted to leave with. I left with some of it. And another cool case over here, Proteus Da, some soundtracks, including Super Donkey Kong and a copy of Corpse Killer for whatever reason. But back there, Snow Bros and Ghost Chaser Densei. That's some rarefied air back there. That's some really uncommon stuff. An SNK game on cassette tape, and Rendering Ranger with a manual for about $1,000. So if you've got a spare $1,000 laying around, you really want a copy of Rendering Ranger. There it is for you. We also got some Kid Dracula, and it looks like some Fate. That's all well and good. Biohazard 2 for the N64, apparently more uncommon than I was aware of. Goketsuji Ichizoku, is that 2 or 3? I think that's part 3. Pretty cool fighting series, but there's a whole bunch of stuff back there. Some Super Famicom, other various things. Boxed and Complete Assault Suit Vulcan, Kunio-kun, some Mega Drive as well, and then a bunch of big box games. I think some of this is like retro PC stuff. There's some AES games in there, and I think there's probably also like maybe some MSX or something. Not terribly familiar with. We have some consoles now, and they had quite a lot of consoles, and some of them in really good condition too. The prices we're going to see are a little whacked sometimes. So 6,600 yen, about 55 bucks for the Super Famicom, but kind of yellowed. 49.50 for this one here, which actually looks, you know, to be in pretty good shape, and it's not boxed. And then this one, 9,900, looks about the same as the one directly next to it, but it's less yellowed. So that's worth an extra 3,300 yen, I guess. Jeez, 7,700 for this Dreamcast, and just the prices were kind of up and down. We got some GameCubes and Famicoms, more Dreamcasts and such. Super Famicoms all the way. 7,700 for this one. So, I mean, the other one was like 4,950, 7,700. That's quite the jump up in price. And this I thought was pretty cool. Famicom boxed with some sort of like original Famicom user's manual, which is pretty cool. I don't think I've ever seen one of those actually, and that's only what, 3,050 yen. That ain't bad. Must be defective maybe. And then these Saturns, they're not getting any cheaper, over 9,000 yen. This one though, 7,700. So I'm not entirely sure. Like, I'd have to read the card on the front to know if there's any like damage or anything. 55 for this one with box, so it might just be that it doesn't have a lot to go with it. Some Panasonic 3DOs, which those are, geez, 22,000 for that. Oddly expensive for a console that honestly sucks. And, some more cases here. This is pretty cool. They had some handheld stuff, including Game & Watch. It's always fun to come across Game & Watch because they're not super common outside of something like Super Potato. There's like a Turbo Express, which is cool, and a Neo Geo Pocket Color, it looks like, but they're marked as junk all this stuff in here is marked as junk. You got some Game Gears here, which are especially nice. So I don't know. I usually don't pick up stuff that is marked as junk. You know, I'm not too nifty with repairs myself. I need stuff that actually works. And this, I thought, was especially cool. 165,000 yen, a little over $1,000 for a Wonder Mega. You don't see a lot of Wonder Megas floating around out there. And Famicom Mini and some other various things in there, controllers and handhelds. But the Wonder Mega was kind of like the cool thing. And these Neo Geo Minis, these are pretty cool too. So some super cool stuff in these cases. And wow, Sega, what, Mark III, PC Engine Duo R, amazing stuff in these things. Destiny, what is that? It's a
Sega.
It's a Sega?
It's a Sega Wonder.
It's a Wonder Mega?
Yeah.
Do you want the Wonder Mega?
I'm like slightly tempted.
It's $1,000.
I know, I'm slightly tempted.
It's got a 3-month warranty on it.
For 3 months? I won't be able to bring it back.
Yeah. You return it by mail, but would you?
Okay.
Who would want to return a Wonder Mega?
Just how would I bubble wrap this and fit it in my suitcase?
Where there's a will, there's a way.
There is.
Will Destiny take home a Wonder Mega today?
Find out on the end of this episode.
Stay tuned.
Keep sure looking.
Find out.
What are you waiting for? Nintendo to make one?
All right. Now we move on to some N64, and right away we got a copy of Troublemakers, which is awesome. Great game by Treasure. And one thing I didn't like, though, they have like these theft prevention bumpers kind of things there, only on certain racks though. So these you can dig through all you want. We've got some Smash Brothers and some baseball games and stuff. Ogre Battle 64, which is cool. Wave Race, all that stuff. A lot of this stuff really well priced too, in the 300 to 500 yen range. There's like next to nothing right now, especially with that exchange rate. We got a bunch of copies of Diddy Kong Racing, and those are nice and affordable. The Superior Racing game, there's a lot of them. Apparently that thing sold like hotcakes because there's like a billion copies. We got some box stuff too, which is really cool. Wave Race 64, etc. Which boxed N64 games I don't come across as much as the Famicom and Super Famicom, because for both of those, inside the box, the cartridge rests in a plastic, I don't know, like a little plastic cartridge container thing, whatever you want to call it. And that really helps the box keep its shape. N64, on the other hand, I don't think all of them had that. I think most of them did, maybe not all of them. But because the box is also bigger, I think it was like harder to maintain on shelves. So maybe those, I don't know, maybe they got tossed or something, but for whatever reason, I don't come across boxed N64 nearly as much as boxed Famicom and Super Famicom. But we're seeing a whole bunch of games there. They got good stuff, but this aisle, this was like the aisle. This was the big one. All this Super Famicom, they had so much Super Famicom, it was almost intimidating. We have some Fist of the North Star, Rockman 7, some Super Bomberman, Kunio-ku no Odin, which is a pretty fun puzzle game. We've got Torneko no Daiboken, Rockman X, whatever the hell that is. And then again, I hate these little stop locks. I want to take the thing off and examine the cartridge, damn you. Like Gradius 3, Kirby, Yu Yu Hakusho, Mother 2, Rockman X. It goes on and on and on. And then look down here at all these boxed Super Famicom games. Quite a lot more than they had of the boxed N64 games. Again, maybe it's size, because it's like the same size really as like a VHS box. And that combined with the plastic insert to help it keep its shape and everything. Maybe it just looks nicer on a shelf, so, you know, people weren't so keen to throw them away. But man, so much stuff here. So I had to cut it short because there was so much stuff. Like, I'm looking at kind of like surface level stuff. There's like Act Razor, Ganbare Goemon 2, which is an excellent game, really good. fantastic platformer sequel to Legend of the Mystical Ninja, and they had multiple copies of that, and Goemon 3 and other ones. Super Ginjin, aka Super Bonk, more Kirby, there's Fatal Fury, there's Street Fighter, there's Bomberman, there's everything. So yeah, kind of like overwhelming. Like when I saw this aisle, I was like, there's no way this video is going to be like, I mean, 3 hours minimum of me going through all these games because they had so much. I spent quite a lot of time just digging, and this is a pretty cool game. Mickey's Tokyo Disney Adventure, a Japan exclusive Mickey game, which is pretty fun. Has a pretty cool like balloon mechanic. You can fill them with gas or with water, and they do different things. A box copy of Ganbare Goemon 2. Again, this is one of my favorites of the Japan exclusive Super Famicom games, and some Super Bomberman 2, which I think there's like half a dozen of those. There's like so many Super Bombermans, but moving right along. But again, like I was saying, there were so many games here that I knew this video could easily turn into just like, you know, over an hour of just nothing but digging through Super Famicom games here. You'll see later, I mean, when we got here, it was sort of like mid-afternoon, and by the time we left, it was getting dark, just because we did a lot of digging in here. Sailor Moon S, which I think is the Sailor Moon fighting game, which is okay on its own, but I think I heard someone say like it was like modded or something to play better, and it became pretty popular at like fighting game tournaments, which is like interesting to me. I would not have thought, you know, that game in particular, because it's not a great fighting game. It's just kind of, the draw is that it's a Sailor Moon game. Rockman X2, Dragon Quest V, Downtown Neketsu Baseball, another Super Bomberman. They had a lot of Bomberman, can't you tell? Hey look, what's that? Bomberman! What's that right next to it? Bomberman. There's so much Bomberman. Apparently a much better selling series in Japan than anywhere else. Otherwise there wouldn't be so damn many of them. But yeah, again, we're just kind of browsing, perusing here. Hey, Crayon Shinchan. Those are kind of fun, kind of cute. Like 500 yen for a complete copy. It's like, yeah, that's nice. And that's another one that's like as common as dirt, because, you know, it's Shinchan, and what kid doesn't love Shinchan? I bet that thing was flying off the shelf. But yeah, as we take, you know, just kind of like a look, like I wish I would have had just like this one long shot so you can see the entire aisle and just see just how much it was. And that's just the Super Famicom games. The other side of the aisle is Famicom, and that's just like nuts. We got some Super Adventure Island, which is really cool. There's a bunch of other stuff up there. There's some Yu Yu Hakusho, some Dragon Ball Z, some Mario, everything. Everything and more. Kunio's Dodgeball. It's like Super Dodgeball for the Super Famicom. I don't think that one got a North American release, but it's pretty damn cool. And we got some more stuff up here. Surprise, shocking, more Bomberman, more everything. But good lord, they had a lot of Super Famicom games.
Do you need some help reaching that top shelf?
I was trying. I was like, I felt I pulled it out. It wasn't what I was looking for, so that's why.
You don't want the Aladdin Pachinko slot game?
No, but I was curious about this McDonald's game.
Oh, sweet, the Happy Disc. A McDonald's, Parappa the Rapper, and Ape Escape kind of little promotional thing, I guess.
It has nothing to. It looks like it has nothing to do with McDonald's. Oh no, I see you.
Everything to do with McDonald's.
You have a McDonald's guy, I guess.
How much is it?
$3.
Get it.
I'm probably gonna get it because I'm like a big McDonald's
Will
fan.
that be your only game today?
No, I'm still looking.
Okay. Well, happy hunting.
Thank you, thank you.
All right, now we come to the PS1 section, and kind of like the Super Famicom, this was a pretty daunting task as we take a look at. It says Wild Roid 9. That's just Wild 9. in North America. That's I think a game by Shiny, right? Like the same development team as Earthworm Jim. I don't know that I've ever played it, or it's been a really long time. Anyway, yeah, kind of a daunting task to go through all these games just because there's so much of it. And it's all sat on a shelf like CDs usually sit on a shelf, so you kind of have to go through one at a time. Puzzle Bobble 2, just in there with the Biohazard games. Why not? Just, hey, just put that anywhere. But there's so much stuff to dig through. And again, it's like, in my head, I'm like, do people want to watch like a 3-hour long, like, digging through all this stuff video? The cover of the original Biohazard, just something about it. Very simplistic, but very cool. I like it a lot. I like that, I think, over the covers for the director's cut and the DualShock version. But there's just so much stuff here. I mean, geez. I'm finding King of Fighters 99 with spine cards, so that's nice. And fairly inexpensive there. I think it's at $13.20. About $10, not so bad. Some Space Battleship Yamato, also pretty cool, or at least the anime. I love the artwork. I don't think I've ever played any of the Space Battleship games other than the one on the PC Engine CD. Here's a little something for you, the Combini. All the excitement and action of running your very own convenience store. Or chain of convenience stores. I'm not 100% sure. King of Fighters 95 for $5.50. That's a good deal on that. Yeah, running a convenience store. I'm guessing running a convenience store in Japan is different from running a convenience store, say, in, I don't know, Chicago or LA or something. But we got some fun looking stuff here. What is that? Hoshide something or other. Which I have no idea what the hell it is. I just grabbed a random thing off the shelf. And I'm just rambling. I'm like, what is this? I have no idea. No earthly idea. We got some Densha de Go for those of you who want the thrill of being a train conductor. And we have some other fun stuff here. What the hell am I looking at? I'm just... This is what happens when I just grab random things. And I'm watching this back now, like... I'm telling myself, like, you should hold it up longer so you can read the title, dumbass. Driver, the original Driver, which was fun, but I remember the first time I played it, I was like, how the hell do I get out of this damn garage? You gotta do all these like little driving tricks and everything like that. It was just driving me crazy. Street Fighter 02 and 03, both of them looked in pretty good condition. Both of them were pretty cheap, so spoilers, those are two of the games that went home with me today. We got a whole bunch of other stuff here. And there was Parodius over there, and there was Darius Gaiden. Did I just walk past those? Really? Here's some Goketsuji Ichizoku 2 with some booty butt cheeks on the back there. So there you go. Kind of what that game is. Well, I know it's known for being a really wacky, fun fighter, but also having some butt cheeks in it. This little case with no disc in it, Gradius Gaiden, which who doesn't love Gradius Gaiden? This pretty cool. One of the first import games I ever bought as like a teenager through like a mail order catalog. DBZ Legends. That stuff's old school. You may have ordered a game like that from a similar catalog when you were a youngster. And we have another case here with some cool stuff in it, like boxed Contra. There's Ninja Ryu Kenden on the PC Engine, which is the PC Engine version of Ninja Gaiden. It's very good. We've got some Game Boy here, including Ninja Turtles, Castlevania, a couple of the Rockman games, Kunio-kun Soccer, 1943, which is a game I like a lot. Even some Mutant Warriors, aka Tournament Fighters, Hammer and Harry, all kinds of stuff. And whoa, what's this? We've spotted a Wild Destiny. What's she doing? Making videos of her own, I suppose. But yeah, too many PS1 games to count.
Hey, Destiny. What happened to all the Dreamcast and Saturn games?
Everyone came and took them. We ran into a fan. He came and scooped them all up.
I know. I think that guy came and got all the games. What was his name again? Steve?
I think it was Steve.
It was Steve. Steve took all the good Dreamcast and Saturn games, but he sort of left us some Mega Drive games at least. Alright, let's go So get them. I'm gonna need you to loan me about $10,000 though, okay? I will take a check.
Okay.
All right.
Cashier's check?
Yes. All right, let's do it. Let's get our stuff.
ナムコ対3号はスター・ウォーズには降参してしまう。今回1号の出番はない。ゲームはナムコ。
All right. Getting into the last leg of this thing. As you can see, we got some Famicom and Famicom Disc. Including some Ultraman, some Pat Labor, or Pat Labor, or some people used to say just say like Paddlebore back in the day. That's a good old school anime. And we got some stuff here. This is interesting. Epoch TV game. So there's Galaxian and some other ones. I don't think I've ever seen these like anywhere. I guess they look like little cassette tapes. Or at least the cases do. I don't think I've ever seen those anywhere else. So if you know what an Epoch or Epoch game thing is, go ahead and put that down in the comments. But we got similar to the Super Famicom section, which I said this about the PlayStation section too. There was so much that it was overwhelming, but they have a lot of stuff here that I really like. You saw they have Wrecking Crew, which is a lot of fun. Some Star Force right there. Ice Climber, a bunch of copies of that for like 600 some odd yen. It's like $5. Get yourself a copy of Ice Climber or Wrecking Crew. Those are always great. Some Captain Tsubasa, some Kinnikuman, Man, some Adventure Island for 550 yen. A lot of these are between like 300 and 500 yen. And that's pretty cool. This, I think... if I'm not mistaken, I think the English title was Spartan, where you kind of it's like a not a beat 'em up. You have like a sword and shield and you kill bad guys. I don't know. I think it's called Spartan. It's kind of cool. Formation, what is that for? Like Formation Z, some bowling, other various things. Good old Super Mario Brothers, which they really should be giving those away. They're marked at 550 yen. I just hope they're really, really clean, because, come on, it's like the most common game ever. And, Spartan X, which... What the hell was that game called in English? Was it just called, like, Kung Fu? You just, like, walk to the left or right and just, like, punch and kick guys. One of the earliest examples of a beat-em-up. And, some Gegege no Kitaro, which someone has written on, like, a little sticker. They wrote their name on it. Gyrodyne, which is pretty cool. Yeah, had a lot of box stuff here, which is always nice to come across. Super Mario USA. It's like 2,000 yen, or, you know, like 15 bucks for a complete copy of that. Not so bad. And another 2,000 yen, 2,200 with tax for Binary Land, which is a really fun little game. Fun little puzzler with cute little penguins. So I think 2,000 yen, that's probably in the neighborhood of $15. Here we have DuckTales, the classic, with a really jacked up box. And that's what happens when you don't have the little plastic insert anymore. Those boxes get wrecked. But more cool stuff here is Xevious, Mappy, some Namco classics there, Afterburner, Tetris, all the classics. So classic. What a crop. This is just a crop. Super Star Force, pretty cool. I'm more of a fan of Star Soldier though. We got some DBZ, we got some Star, I think it's Star Luster, which a guy I know, I can't remember, an old friend of mine, a Japanese dude, older Japanese man, that was his favorite game ever, was Star Luster. What is this? Atlantis no Nazo, The Secret of Atlantis, which is a game I don't have enough patience for. But again, people swear by. Actually, one of my favorite episodes of Game Center CX, watching a Reno trying to figure that damn game out. Down Down, Neketsu, Monogatari, aka River City Ransom. We've got some Makaimura, aka Ghosts and Goblins. Transformers! For 550 yen. Again, where's Lion when you need him? There's a Yoshi down there, aka Yoshi's Egg. Some other great stuff. Some old school Ganbare Goemon, which is nice. And Rainbow Islands, which I'm a big fan of Rainbow Islands. Basically anything in that whole series. Puzzle Bobble, Bubble Bobble, Rainbow Islands. It's all good. But more box stuff, just more. And even a nice nifty little case here with some handhelds and Famicom Twin, all that goodness. But yeah, more games than we could put in a bushel basket.
So Destiny, I'm looking at our our baskets here. Do you think we got enough games?
Well, I need stuff from the glass.
You need.
I'm gonna get
You need to go into the high roller case.
Yeah. There's like 2 N64 DD games.
Oh Lord, have mercy.
And then there's this one game where you can fight Dragon Ball Z, Naruto, and One Piece characters.
Oh my God! And the universe didn't explode?
I didn't know that existed. I want to explode.
If you're lucky, you'll explode later. Okay. All right. Cool.
I'm gonna drink with some fine ladies later. So
you're gonna drink with some fine ladies? Yes. Where am I gonna be? All right. I think we kind of hit our limit a little bit, except for them glass case things. So what do you say we go wrap this this stuff up and get on out of here? This is gonna be a long walk home too.
It's gonna be a heavy walk.
Jesus. All right, let's do it. Destiny, what did we do? How long were we in there? Look, what the hell? It was a nice.
Going down.
It was a
nice
sun. It was a bright, beautiful day, and now I feel like we just walked in there, and then time
just flew by.
Just ceased to have any meaning as we were in there. But look at all this. We got a lot of stuff today. Bags of it. Filled up my backpack. Big old bags. You got some stuff all in there. I'd say we came out all right.
I think we made out like bandits.
We got a lot of damn games. And you know what? I was shocked at how little I spent on all of this.
Me too.
Man, it's crazy. So what I'm going to do is, you and I are probably going to have some dinnies, and then I'm going to let you go. And then I'm going to go home, talk a little bit about what I found today, and show everybody my finds of the day. That's my favorite part of the video.
Finds of the day.
That's probably everyone's favorite too. All this game hunting stuff, it runs a little thin, doesn't it? We don't really need to see all that. Just tell us what you got, damn you. All right, so Destiny, this is where we're gonna part ways, you and the audience. So maybe we'll see you on the next one.
Hopefully.
Maybe not.
I don't know, I'll be here for a while.
Maybe you'll
vanish.
You
to take me to all those hidden gems.
Okay, well, bug me all you want. All right, so it's late. We got a ways to walk back, and then I gotta go shoot some stuff at home. So say goodnight, Destiny.
Good night.
All right, how did you like that? Was that an epic game hunting extravaganza, or was it not? Yeah, just like I said, that particular hard off there in Hachioji, just like massive, just an insane amount of games. I didn't even go over like everything. Like there were a bunch of like PS2 games, DS and 3DS, just other various consoles that like the video was getting to be so long, and we had been in the store for so long. You saw in the video, we got there kind of like earlier in the afternoon, and by the time we left, it was getting dark outside, and we still had like to walk all the way back to the station. So yeah, just a ton of games. It was out of control, so much stuff. And as you saw, I did have to kind of cut it short a little bit there. Otherwise, this video would have been like 3 hours long. But I picked up a lot of games today. In fact, on this game hunting trip, I picked up 90 games, if you can believe it or not, and in total spent 91,530 yen, which for 90 games, considering that a lot of those games were really reasonably priced. Most of the games I picked up today were between 300 yen and 1,000 yen. So they were pretty cheap, most of the stuff I picked up today. They had a lot of really good Famicom, Super Famicom, PS1 games. A lot of great stuff that was really reasonably priced, but I did pick up a few things that were a little bit pricier, more of the like over 3,000 yen kind of area there. So I think for 90 games, with some of them being kind of a little bit more valuable, 91,000 yen is okay. It's acceptable. And you know, a lot of this stuff is only going to be with me temporarily. I send most of these games out to people who subscribe to game boxes on my Patreon. So that's what a lot of this stuff is going to, but I am going to play test a lot of it before it goes. And so I have my 3 finds of the day. These are the 3 games that when I picked them up today, I thought, you know what, these are kind of like the cream of the crop. These are the ones that I'm going to be most excited to send out to people, and most excited to play test, if I don't mind saying so. So first up, 3 games here, my 3 top finds of the day. On the PS1, first we have a copy of Darius Gaiden. And I have never played the PS1 version of Darius Gaiden. I've played this game extensively in the arcade, and I've played the hell out of the Sega Saturn version. Never played the PS1 version. I understand that it was not developed or programmed by Taito. It was actually, let's see, handled by a company called Interbeck. So I understand that this game, the programming was not quite as good, so it's not as good as the Saturn port. I heard it's like maybe like a little bit choppier, or maybe, I don't know if a little bit is the way to say, but it's choppier and there's more slowdown. But I've also heard that if you hadn't played the Saturn or arcade versions already, you'd be pretty happy with this, but it is noticeable that it's a little bit of a step down from those versions. But regardless, Darius Gaiden, I think, is always going to be a fun game to play. It's Darius, so it's going to be awesome. Shoot 'em ups. This one in particular, again, you know, I played it on the Saturn and arcade. Great game. It's pretty simple, classic Darius style. You pick up your power-ups to increase the power of your laser, your missiles, and your defensive shield. And then as you play through the game, you can choose different routes through the various stages of the game. So there'll be different backgrounds and maybe different enemies and things like that, except you'll always have, I think, always the same boss battles. But again, regardless, PS1 or not, an inferior port or not, I still think this is going to be a lot of fun to play, and someone's going to be pretty happy when they eventually get this in the mail. It's Darius Gaiden, because every game series needs a Gaiden, doesn't it? Next up, 2 games for the Super Famicom, both of them boxed and complete, and both of them awesome. First up, great game. This was, when I was still doing Import Game of the Day, this was one of the games that was featured very prominently in that series. This is Ganbare Goemon 2. And this is the first sequel to what was called Legend of the Mystical Ninja on the SNES in North America. This game, as far as I'm concerned, far better than the original Ganbare Goemon, and that game was really good, so you know that this one's going to be fantastic. It's, again, an action platformer, and you can play as Goemon, you can play as Ebisumaru, and you can play as Sasuke. And it's a 2-player co-op action platformer, which is pretty cool. There are not a whole lot of 2-player platformers out there. The only other ones I can really think of would be like maybe like Joe and Mac, where you're playing as 2 characters at the same time on the same screen. So that's pretty cool, but it's also great as a single-player game. But it's a fun, fairly challenging action platformer with a bunch of mini games and some cool boss battles. You even get in like a big Goemon mech suit and fight other giant mechs, and there's some cool Mode 7 effects in there. So that's really cool, and just overall graphically very impressive for a 16-bit game. This is actually, I think, some of Konami's best work visually on the Super Famicom, and a great soundtrack as well that has a lot of very Japanese-y sounding 16-bit chiptune music in it. So there's not much else to say. This game is amazing, and I think I got this boxed complete as it is for like 3,000 yen, which was a pretty good deal on it. So Ganbare Goemon 2, fantastic game. I was definitely going to pick it up. They had loose carts and this box copy, so I picked up loose versions as well in addition to the boxed one. And then finally, this is one I had to go into the case to get it. There was a lot of cool stuff in there, but I settled on this one because it was boxed and complete, and the game itself is just amazing. This is Super Alesta. And Super Alesta is also known as Space Megaforce in other various regions. On the SNES, it's called Space Megaforce. This, in my opinion, you know, the Super Famicom SNES, not known as a shoot-'em-up machine specifically, but there are some really good shooters on the console, and Super Alesta, I think is my favorite one, or I think it's the best one. I did a top 10 SNES and Super Famicom shoot-'em-ups list like years ago, and I put Super Alesta as #1 because I think of all of the shoot-'em-ups that are on the Super Famicom, this is the one. It's published by Toho but developed by Compile, and they made so many like great shooters on the PC Engine, and they made great shooters on the Mega Drive. They're legendary shooters. And this is the one shooter on the Super Famicom that I feel like when you play it, you feel like it really does compete with the other consoles that are better known for having great shoot-'em-ups on them. Super Famicom has other great stuff like Gradius 3 and Axlay is really cool. Area 88 is really cool. Other stuff like maybe like Darius Twin, things like that. Those are cool, but Super Alesta, very smooth, very fast gameplay, challenging, extremely fun, great graphics, great sound design. Again, it's a Compile game, so if you like stuff like blazing lasers and gun knack and whatever else they might have worked on, this you'll feel right at home here because it's kind of like an amalgamation in a lot of ways of a bunch of those games. So fantastic game, I love it. This was the priciest game of the day. But I didn't care because I wanted to get it home, I wanted to play it and have fun with it, and then I want to pop it into a box and ship it out to some lucky boy or girl out there. But it's just awesome. It's Super Alesta for the Super Famicom. And there you go. Those are my finds of the day. Like I said, picked up 90 games today, and those are the 3 that I thought stood out from the crowd the most. I got a lot of good stuff today. Platformers, some shoot-'em-ups, some fighting games, beat-'em-ups, all kinds of great stuff. 8, 16-bit, 32-bit, you name it. I got it, but these are the ones that, well, they're just the bee's knees, baby. So that's it. That's all for today's game hunting video. Let me know down in the comments, what did you think of the video today? What did you think of these games? And what are some things on your retro game hunting wish list? I'd like to know. And until next time, take care, everybody. Goodbye.